of ours. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Y'all hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
While I was down there was something that happened. I don't even know what to call it. There was something that sounded like an earthquake, something that sounded like people got into a fight.
If Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher thought that they were home free and were going to get away with the crazy things that they allegedly did with Diddy, well, they're in for a rude shock because Diddy's alleged victim, 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, is here to spill the tea. And she has some pretty shocking things to say about the wild things that she allegedly saw Ashton and Demi doing with Diddy at his parties. Demi and Ashton have been fighting rumors for a couple of months now about how they were allegedly active participants at Diddy's parties, but it looks like it's game over for them. Not only is 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 here to spill the tea, but she also came backed up with some scandalous receipts that might ruin everything for everyone involved. So let's break down her wild revelations. All right, let's break it down. Who is 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 and why is she dropping this kind of bombshell tea? She's not just some random clout chaser on the internet. This girl has a story to tell about being thrown into the gritty underbelly of Hollywood at a ridiculously young age. I'm talking about the kind of secrets and drama you usually only see in a Netflix show, not something you'd expect to come out of someone's real life. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 claims that her entry into this mess was pretty innocent, just a wide-eyed girl thinking she was going to a high-profile party, maybe expecting a little glitz, glam, and even a selfie with a celeb or two. But according to her, what she actually walked into was a completely different world, a crazy experience filled with secretive, behind-closed-doors situations that most of us couldn't even dream of. It's like stepping into a different dimension where the rules of reality don't apply, and you're left wondering how someone so young got swept up in all that drama. But wait, there's more. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 insists this wasn't just a one-off situation. She claims she got sucked into this secretive side of Hollywood and what she's seen. Allegedly, it's the kind of dirt that could expose some of the industry's biggest power players. If even a fraction of what she's saying holds up, it's about to shake things up in a major way. And here's where it takes a seriously dark turn. These weren't your typical Hollywood parties with champagne towers, A-list selfies, and red carpet vibes. According to 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, these gatherings were something else entirely, and not in a glamorous way. She's describing events that went far deeper, involving some of the most powerful and influential names in the entertainment world. From what she's saying, these parties had layers, hidden, sinister layers, that most of us couldn't even begin to imagine. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 didn't stop there. She claimed these weren't just parties where celebs let loose after an awards show or network with fellow A-listers. She's alleging there were hidden agendas, shady motives, and activities so shocking they'd make even the most seasoned tea spiller do a double take. And the craziest part? She says all of this was happening in plain sight. While the cameras were flashing and the world admired the glitz and glam, a completely different reality was unfolding behind those velvet ropes. As for the details she's teasing, let's just say they're enough to make people question everything they thought they knew about the dazzling facade of Hollywood.
Touching the seriousness of trafficking yet, guys. Like, the videos that I've made, the videos that I've started to make, this is not even touching. This is the gist of it. Yeah. You don't live in the world you think you do.
You don't live in the world that you think you do. Yeah.
And
all right, let's get into it because 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's story about these parties is next level. Forget the glamorous Hollywood bashes you see splashed all over Instagram. This wasn't about rocking designer outfits or snapping selfies with A-listers. According to her, these were hyper-exclusive, VIP-only events where the guest list spoke volumes. If you got an invite, it wasn't just because you were famous or influential, it was because you were part of an elite circle that allegedly didn't bat an eye when things took a dark turn. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 claims these weren't your typical pop some champagne and vibe to the DJ kind of parties either. She says beneath the glittering surface was a whole world of secrecy and questionable activities that weren't just ignored by the power players, they were fully involved. The way she tells it, stepping through the door wasn't just about joining the fun. It was like silently agreeing to the rules of this hidden, twisted game. And those rules apparently included keeping quiet, no matter how dark things got. And let me tell you, they got really dark most of the time. And the vibe at these parties? 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 says it was nothing like the carefree, glamorous energy you'd expect from Hollywood's elite. Instead, she's describing an atmosphere that was tense, calculated, and anything but fun. According to her, it wasn't about celebrating or letting loose. It was about power plays, exploitation, and situations that leaned more towards sinister than social. Now, this next part is straight up chilling. Allie claims there were these so-called all-black events. And no, it wasn't about a sleek dress code or some trendy theme. She says these gatherings had a much darker agenda. According to her, the focus wasn't on guests wearing black. It was on young black kids being brought in, supposedly under the pretense of providing entertainment. But the way Allie tells it, what actually happened was far more disturbing than anyone could imagine, crossing lines that most people wouldn't even think existed. Let's break this down because what Allie is claiming is beyond disturbing. She says these kids weren't just random attendees, they were deliberately chosen, and that fact alone is enough to make anyone's stomach turn. According to her, what happened next wasn't about fun or games, it was about exploitation, manipulation, and outright abuse. The details she shared are gut-wrenching, so shocking they could make even the most cynical skeptic stop and reconsider everything they thought they knew about Hollywood's shadowy underbelly. And the worst part? Allie paints a picture of a room full of powerful individuals who weren't just aware of what was going on. They were complicit, and allegedly Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were all a big part of it. But we're going to get to that in a bit.
With his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies.
Allie is pulling back the curtain on these so-called VIP
crazy.
sections, and according to her, they were anything but glamorous. Forget bottle service and plush seating. She's claiming these spaces served a far more sinister purpose. Allie says they were designed to cater to high-profile guests, and she's not shy about name-dropping, mentioning figures like Jay-Z and Naomi Campbell. Allegedly, these sections gave them private, behind-the-scenes access to young girls in ways that are downright horrifying. Now, the way Allie describes the setup is enough to make your skin crawl. She says these sections weren't perks, they were traps. Picture being young, impressionable, and suddenly finding yourself alone with someone famous, someone you've looked up to or dreamed of meeting. For most people, that might sound like a dream come true. But Allie? She's saying it was all part of a calculated, twisted game. These setups weren't about chance encounters. They were carefully orchestrated to lure people into vulnerable situations, leaving them feeling pressured, powerless, and completely at the mercy of those with all the power. Here's the kicker. Allie says these young girls weren't just random partygoers who happened to show up. According to her, they were handpicked, specifically chosen for their youth and inexperience. The way she describes it, this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment exploitation. It was a well-oiled system designed to thrive on imbalance, luring these girls into situations that were the polar opposite of the glitz and glamour Hollywood sells. It's giving predatory on a whole new level, and honestly, just thinking about it is gut-wrenching. If even a fraction of these allegations hold water, it's a huge stain on everyone involved, and the fallout could be nothing short of catastrophic. And here's where it gets even messier. Not long ago, one of Diddy's neighbors spilled some tea of their own, claiming that Diddy often had buses full of young girls brought to his homes for his infamous parties. It's enough to make you wonder just how deep this rabbit hole goes, and if anyone in Hollywood's elite circle will actually be held accountable.
Yeah, tell them stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. It be like buses. You can see all types of stuff out. Especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets wild. I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be because I don't want him out to the door.
Allie,
I mean, it's not funny. I'm laughing at. Here's the thing. I wanted to stop it right on this part because, the kid thing. One of the girls that was interviewed, I always try to back up somebody's story, so to speak. The kid thing is, one of the girls was interviewing said she went to the all-white party, and she said she didn't say kids. She said little people. Remember? She said little people. So that stuck in the back of my head. Like, is she making this up? Because everybody thinks everybody's lying and all this stuff. So many people that's telling these stories said a lot of things about little people, and we are here to help the kids. So I'm going to rewind this part. I think this is very, very important for you guys to know. So let's check this part out one more time.
how deep this rabbit hole goes, and if anyone in Hollywood's elite circle will actually be held accountable.
Yeah, tell them stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. It be like buses. You can see all types of stuff out. Especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets wild. I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be because I don't want him out to the door.
Ally isn't just sharing her own story. She's exposing some manipulation tactics.
He said when his basketball go over there, he don't even knock on the door. I don't even want to go over there, man. I'm scared of Puffy. And it's a young dude, man. So, you know, people spilling their guts and telling the truth. This guy, he just said it. Tell him to stop bringing all them kids over there.
I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be. I don't want him out there to go.
Ally isn't just sharing her own story. She's exposing some manipulation tactics that feel all too familiar. The patterns she describes are straight out of the textbook. She talks about how young people are made to feel special or chosen with a flood of attention, promises of big opportunities, or just the intoxicating thrill of being close to fame and power. It's all a calculated game, designed to lower their defenses and make them think that Diddy and his accomplices care for them, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. What makes this even harder to stomach is that Ally's not alone in her claims. She is not the first to describe these kinds of tactics being used at high-profile Hollywood parties, and let's be honest, she likely won't be the last. Time and again, survivors have stepped forward with eerily similar stories. The glitz, the promises, and then the crushing realization that they were being exploited. The fact that Ally's story echoes so many others only makes her allegations hit harder. It's like there's this unspoken rulebook for how to lure young, vulnerable people into these situations. Ally's claims suggest it's not just one-off bad behavior. It's a systemic, well-oiled machine that preys on innocence. And the worst part? The powerful people involved seem to rely on the assumption that no one will believe these survivors.
I'm trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to deal with it a lot because a lot of people don't understand when you say what's going on. It's not just jobs. It's not just a lot.
It gets even darker, y'all. Ally isn't just spilling the tea. She's blowing the lid off what she describes as a meticulously orchestrated setup at these so-called parties. According to her, this wasn't a chaotic scene where anything goes wrong. Nope, everything was carefully planned, right down to the smallest detail, to keep those inside feeling scared, confused, or too young and naive to fully grasp what was going on, let alone find a way to speak out about it. Ally paints these events less like parties and more like traps. Once you stepped inside, she says, it felt like there was no escape. The entire atmosphere was designed to disorient and overwhelm, making sure that anyone who felt uncomfortable also felt powerless to do anything about it. Imagine being young, surrounded by celebrities and powerful figures, and suddenly realizing you're in a situation completely out of your control. You're isolated, unsure who to turn to, and likely being fed the chilling idea that if you try to tell anyone, they won't believe you. It's calculated manipulation on another level. And that's exactly how, according to Ally, these so-called elite parties managed to keep their secrets hidden for so long. People weren't just guests. They were effectively prisoners of the moment, caught in a meticulously staged environment where every action seemed calculated to keep them silent. Ally paints an image of an atmosphere that was not just intimidating but paralyzing and suffocating in its control. What's chilling is how methodical this all appears. If Ally's claims are true, these weren't just parties that went awry. They were environments meticulously engineered to exploit the vulnerable while shielding the powerful. This system thrives on fear, shame, and secrecy, creating a situation where those involved feel too threatened to speak up. So, what do Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore have to do with this? Demi Moore has never been one to shy away from controversy, but this latest revelation is pushing people to take a closer look at her past. Let's rewind for a moment. Demi Moore and Diddy didn't seem like a natural pairing back in the day. She was busy building a career in Hollywood with films like Ghost, while he was making major moves in the hip-hop scene. However, when you dig a little deeper, you'll find that these two actually crossed paths more often than you might think. They met at exclusive Hollywood events, were seen making public appearances together, and sparked interest in their connection. But here's the tea. Now that these allegations are coming to light, people are starting to question whether there was more to Demi's connection with Diddy than just a friendly vibe. With all these new accusations and Busby's claims surfacing, fans can't help but speculate that there might be a darker story lurking beneath this so-called friendship. Adding to Moore's controversial ties with Diddy, she recently opened up in a candid Good Morning America interview about a traumatic experience from her teenage years. Demi revealed that when she was just 15, a man showed up at her house, claiming her mother had taken $500 to let him in. In her memoir, Inside Out, she described it as a devastating betrayal, explaining how her mother's choices led her into dangerous situations, including taking her to bars as a teenager to attract male attention. Now that Demi's name has surfaced in the scandal surrounding Diddy's controversial gatherings, many people are starting to wonder if the trauma she experienced as a teenager might have influenced her path later in life. Some fans speculate that Demi's painful past could have created patterns that drew her into Diddy's circle. where similar issues of power and vulnerability allegedly played out.
How can a parent do something like that? How can a parent do something like that to their daughter? That's crazy.
Attract male attention. Now that Demi's name has
Taking her to bars when she's young.
surfaced in the scandal surrounding Diddy's controversial gatherings, many people are starting to wonder if the trauma she experienced as a teenager might have influenced her path later in life. Some fans speculate that Demi's painful past could have created patterns that drew her into Diddy's circle, where similar issues of power and vulnerability allegedly played out. Now, Busby is saying there's footage of young guests at these parties, and with Demi's name being thrown into the mix, folks are starting to lose it. The idea that there's actual video evidence linking Hollywood A-listers to these wild parties, that's a plot twist nobody saw coming. Demi has definitely been through her share of drama, but these new claims are on a whole different level.
And within me,
Yes.
I was in a place that was thinking, wow, how did I get in here? Isn't this interesting? And then my very next thought was, oh, I wonder if I can get out.
Fans are also talking about this weird video of Demi when she was 19, kissing her 15-year-old co-star, 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, multiple times on the lips, and not exactly in an innocent way either. And that's not the only thing coming back to haunt Demi. Remember her relationship with Ashton Kutcher? Demi was 16 years older, which definitely raised eyebrows in the tabloids, but now it's adding more fuel to the fire. With rumors circulating about underage attendees and her connection to Diddy's parties, people are starting to question whether Moore's pattern of dating younger men might be more than just a preference. It's looking like a deeper connection might be at play here.
Tendency, like my addiction to Ashton. And that was probably almost more devastating because it took me seriously away emotionally.
This isn't just about a Hollywood age gap. It's making fans wonder if there was something deeper going on in her relationships and if her connection to Diddy's crowd had any influence. But here's where things get even juicier. When Demi first began her relationship with Ashton, he and Diddy were basically joined at the hip. They were spotted all over Hollywood partying together, and Diddy even referred to their crew as a rat pack, with Jamie Foxx frequently hanging out with them. But when Ashton started getting serious with Demi, Diddy seemed to hint that their romance was messing with their nightlife scene. Some fans speculate that Ashton's relationship with Demi might have pulled her deeper into Diddy's world than we initially thought. Could Ashton have inadvertently introduced Demi to this chaotic situation? Let's fast forward a bit. With Busby's new claims, Demi's connection with Diddy now seems far more complex. We're no longer just talking about a casual friendship. It raises the question of whether she actually attended those controversial gatherings. If she was there, it's not just her cool girl image in Hollywood that's on the line. It also raises concerns about what she might have witnessed, or even been involved in, at these parties. And now, Diddy's legal troubles are reaching a critical point. He's facing charges that go way beyond your typical Hollywood scandal. Think trafficking, illegal activities, and allegations involving underage guests at his notorious parties. With a trial date approaching, if Diddy is found guilty, he could be staring down life in prison. But here's the twist. Demi's alleged involvement adds a whole new layer to this mess. If her name gets dragged into Diddy's case, it could become one of the biggest scandals Hollywood has ever seen. Diddy's defense team is scrambling to protect him, but if the evidence is as solid as Busby claims, things don't look good. Busby has even hinted that more high-profile names could be implicated in this case. For Demi, if she's tied to this inner circle, her career could be in serious jeopardy. This situation isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's also about the Hollywood elite who either participated in these events or turned a blind eye. Demi's life has certainly been no stranger to challenges. She grew up in an environment plagued with addiction and trauma, and she's been open about the moment she saved her mother from an overdose. These experiences have clearly left their mark, prompting fans to wonder if her own struggles with addiction made her more vulnerable to the Hollywood scene she found herself entangled in. When Demi married Ashton Kutcher, her battle with sobriety hit a major turning point. After 2 decades of staying sober, she felt pressure to blend in with Ashton's youthful, carefree lifestyle. In her memoir, she even confessed that during a trip to Mexico, Ashton convinced her to let go of her sobriety. Demi's decisions haven't just affected her. They've also put her family in a tough spot. Her daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, now have to grapple with the fallout from her lifestyle choices. If these allegations against Demi continue to escalate, her daughters could face another challenging chapter in their mother's story. This scandal isn't just threatening her career. It's also adding stress to her family's already complicated situation. Back in the day, Demi was known as Hollywood's wild child. She was famous for breaking the rules, partying hard, and living life on her own terms. But with these new accusations coming to light, her past decisions now seem much more troubling and problematic. While married to Ashton, Demi revealed that they had an open relationship, allowing for third parties to enter their marriage. She eventually regretted this decision, noting that it muddied the lines and created major trust issues. Now, fans are left wondering if this open boundary approach extended into Diddy's circle. Did Demi get caught up in something much darker while living out her wild Hollywood lifestyle?
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either.
And with 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 now claiming that she allegedly saw Ashton and Demi doing some crazy things at Diddy's parties, well, let's just say that Demi and Ashton might want to hope and pray that their alleged involvement never comes up during the trial, or they just might be next on the hot seat. Things are getting more heated every single day, but in the meantime, y'all let me know how you feel about this and then check out this next video.
I wanted to go through the whole video. First, we are on our live channel doing this. So as y'all can see, every now and then I throw things up in the air. Muff 40 gonna get it, y'all. We're gonna wait till we cut this off and she gonna get it. This is what we do on our live side, man. Thank y'all so much. Check this out. There are too many people that don't know each other is saying the same thing. Like the guy that was in the car saying, I'm his next door neighbor. Man, tell him to stop bringing all them kids over here. You know, bus loads of kids or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, I don't know. And a couple of people saying that, then these people add to the story and say tunnels. You know, I can't remember who said it, but somebody was saying that it's tunnels leading from his house to Bill Cosby's house. I think it's tunnels under all those houses, like all the rich people got on this island that Puffy lives on, and they had ways to transport things through tunnels. So I still haven't gotten too deep into the tunnel thing, man. I didn't know all this stuff was existing, these tunnels. So that's crazy. So anyway, y'all take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out. Let me talk to my live stream. Yeah. Peace.